Rollo here with another story for you, rolling through. I'm always asked by friends and family, like, what stood out on your trip? Like, what's an aha moment or an ah moment? Which to me, there's so many of those at any places that you go or you travel. But I could think of a couple that definitely will just stick in my head, just as a first time travel experience to, a place or a certain country. So we'll call this Seeing for the First Time. Seeing for the First Time, Part 1. And when I think of Part 1, I'm going to mention Hong Kong. I know lots going on there, so I hope everything works out. Hong Kong definitely stands out to me, so seeing it for the first time. I've been there twice, and both times it's still the same. You get in at midnight, depending on where you're coming from. So I got in at midnight, and when you get in at midnight, you get into the airport. You got to take a taxi or whatever to get into the main part of Hong Kong. And I remember being in this taxi going like 100 miles an hour. It's after midnight, so probably at this time it's like 1 a.m. And so you could see some buildings, but you just see like a silhouette of buildings. And then all of us, other than that, it's like dark. There's probably water around that you could see a little bit, but it's mainly highway and some buildings, and it's just really, really dark. And the highways are massive. And, the taxi guy is just coming into Hong Kong like 100 miles an hour. Maybe not exactly 100 miles an hour, but pretty close. There's nobody on the road, so they're just flying through. And you get in to Hong Kong and you see some of the buildings are really big and close to you. And that's pretty much all you see, just buildings, right? And it's dark, so you don't see a lot, but, you just know it's buildings around. If you've been in New York or bigger cities, like their downtown, it just looks like a normal downtown for the most part. You go to bed, 2 a.m. You go to bed, you wake up the next day, you look out the window, and you're just like, oh my God, well, look at this. It's like, you feel like it's like a million buildings there. For people that have been to like New York, San Francisco, some of these other big cities like Tokyo and all of those, London, it just looks like, it feels like it's like all of them combined. And instantly for me, I was claustrophobic because it's just so many big, large skyscrapers in such a small area. So it's like, it seems like it's in a bay, which I think Hong Kong is, but, for all you geography buffs, you know more about that than me. But you got a bay, and then you got these large hills, and there's just nothing but buildings and buildings and skyscrapers, old and new, just for a while. I do know that it has double the amount of skyscrapers of New York. I think New York has 4,400. Hong Kong, I believe, has over 8,000. So pretty much double that of New York. And I feel like it's or Manhattan. I feel like it's in a smaller space. So just imagine everywhere you walk is just a skyscraper, just all over, every minute, every second. All the buildings you see people living in that are close to the main metropolitan area of Hong Kong, they live in all these skyscrapers. If you're going up a hill, it's still a skyscraper. If you're on the highway, it's a skyscraper next to you. So everywhere you go, you see there's a skyscraper. And then you can go up into one of their, large, I think they have a deck that's called Sky 100 or something like that. All the big cities have it, but then you go to theirs and they have it where you could see the whole bay, and you can just see how many skyscrapers are there and how much area it covers. So it's like really, really, I think the right word would be densely populated area. But to me, going into Hong Kong for the first time and seeing all those buildings, just a sight to see from a man-made structure. Just so many skyscrapers.